Material things. Most people love material things. I love material things. They don't make me who I am. But like most people, I like material things. But there's, a bad rap around material things. Like, you shouldn't want material things. You shouldn't like material things. And there's nothing wrong with material things if you're in a good position to purchase those. What's bad about material things is a lot of people place their identity on those material things. They think that, they become a better person, based off the vehicle they have, based off the home they have, based off the clothes they wear, the jewelry they wear. People think that material things improve who they are as a person. And that is not true at all. Any material thing that I own does not make me a better person. Ultimately, what I do as an individual and how I treat others, what I do in my day-to-day, those ultimately improve who I am as an individual. You can strip me of all the material things that I have, and not much is going to change as far as me as an individual. I might be like, man, that sucks. I worked really hard to get those things. But they would not change how I feel about myself, how I operate. It would not make me any less of a person based off those material things. And material things are a good driving force. If you can't find a why that's bigger than you to push yourself, when you want to quit, to keep going, if you don't have a family, if you can't hold yourself accountable for yourself, but if you just get a fire lit under you when you're thinking about those material things, say a Lamborghini or something, if you want a Lamborghini and that, helps you push through, helps you, level up as an individual, get more disciplined, then that's a good thing. Same thing if you want, $1 million home, and if that drives you, then that's great. There's nothing wrong with that if material things drive you to do better, to do more, to sacrifice. There's nothing wrong with that at all. Material things are cool, they're fun. But again, I think there's a little misconception around that. And, a lot of times you'll get people that bash material things that ultimately cannot afford those material things or do not have those material things. So they may project their shortcomings on others. Those aren't everything, and they're not everything. But if people try to deter you from having those things, most of the time that's coming from somebody that does not have those and cannot have those. So there's nothing wrong with material things. That's perfectly okay. But again, you want to make sure you're in a good position when purchasing those material things. Don't put yourself in a bad financial bind. This year I've been really doubling down on finances for people around me, trying to help people become more financially literate. And so I've talked about, material things are not good if you're not in a good financial position and you're trying to, grow a nest egg, trying to get in a position where you can start investing to where you're not stressed out about bills come the first of the month. You should not be buying material things. Where me, you know, a lot of the material things I've bought were normally whenever I reached certain goals, you know, I would reward myself with that. Or if I was just, you know, pushing through a lot of stress, a lot of anxiety, just really uncomfortable, really pushing myself. And, you know, either in the midst of it or whenever I make it through there, you know, I'll reward myself with something like, hey, you know, you're really sacrificing, but, you know, you get to do cool stuff like this. You know, you get to buy yourself that watch, whatever it may be. But there's nothing wrong with material things as long as you're in a good position to make those purchases. I do not want anybody to buy any material things if you're not in a good financial position. And as well, they can be a good driving force, and there's nothing wrong with that at all. Again, if that material thing that you want is going to light a fire under you and help you, you know, achieve what you're trying to achieve and put yourself in a better position, sacrifice, there's nothing wrong with that. You know, ultimately, when you sacrifice, when you know, push yourself past breaking points, when you hit goals and you're in that financial position where you're able to make those purchases and you're not going to put yourself in a bind by doing it, you're the one that did the work, you're the one that sacrificed. It's okay to reward yourself. There's nothing wrong with that. But don't get it, you know, confused. You know, there's just certain little material things that I personally like. I don't even like other people seeing those because they can get a misconception about me. And again, a lot of people try to relate people's identity to those material things. I don't want people to think my identity is attached to any type of material thing, because it's definitely not. But anyways, I hope that helps somebody out there. You know, if you're kind of struggling with that, you like stuff, it's a driving force, and people are telling you you shouldn't want those things or stuff like that. Again, most of the time, and these people are probably trying to help you. They're not trying to hurt you. But, you know, most of the time, those people, they cannot afford those material things, or they do not have those material things. They don't have the means to get them. So a lot of times they'll project that onto other people, that you shouldn't want that. But again, that's you know, their projection onto you. Ultimately, if you want that, if you sacrifice for it, if you work for it, it's not putting you in a bad bind, more power to you. If it's driving you, more power to you. I hope this helps somebody. You have a great day out there. Thank you.